Hello, and greetings. This video is a Game Master's Guide of Episode 3 of the Traveler campaign, Secrets of the Ancients. This video is the fourth video in a series of 11 videos. I would recommend watching the first 3 videos before this one. Welcome to the RPGmodsFan spaceship. I, Peaches, will be your guide through the third adventure of the Traveler, Secrets of the Ancients campaign. As a reminder, in the Traveler RPG system, the Game Master is called the referee. However, I will refer to them as the Game Master or as the GM instead. In the second episode of the campaign, for his funeral and burial, the Travelers have taken Uncle Baket's corpse to his homeworld, a jungle planet called Alel. They meet with Uncle Baket's relatives, as well as others who seek inheritance from his estate. Uncle Baket has left quite a mess for the Travelers to sort through. Warning, minor spoilers ahead. If you are a player and do not want to hear any spoilers, please stop watching now. The third episode of the Secrets of the Ancients campaign involves the Travelers traversing the Regina subsector of the Spinward Marches. Hence, a map of the subsector is given to the players, showing not only the worlds in the subsector, but also the Imperium's export routes. A printout of the library data of the worlds should be provided by Game Masters to their players. Early in the campaign, the Travelers learn that their Uncle Baket was interested in finding ancient sites and relics. The Ancients were a super advanced civilization that dominated the galaxy 300,000 years ago. From library data, they can find the following information about them. Actually, little is known about the Ancients. They are believed responsible for transplanting humans from its original homeworld of Terra to hundreds of planets within known space and, perhaps, beyond. They are also believed to have uplifted the Vaga from Terran canines. The Ancients had an exceedingly high level of technology, and many of their artifacts are millennia beyond even cutting-edge Imperial science. Estimates of high-end ancient technology place them beyond Tech Level 25. Several ancient sites have been discovered across charted space, especially in the Spinward Marches. Curiously, the technology at these sites varies considerably, suggesting different ancient groups pursued radically different paths of technological development. Archaeologists cannot agree whether the Ancients were a homogeneous race or were multiple races competing against each other. Furthermore, most ancient sites show signs of damage consistent with orbital bombardment or other violence. There are also anomalies in other systems that can be explained only by the use of weapons that destroyed entire planets. The sudden extinction of the Ancients is still a mystery to archaeologists. How much of this information is true? Well, that is what this campaign is all about, as well as for the Game Master to bend or modify as they see fit. I will now be discussing the adventure/episode itself, and this video will contain spoilers. Unless you are a Game Master who will be running this adventure for their players, or are a player who already played through this adventure and are watching this video for nostalgia purposes, I would suggest not to watch the rest of this video. Captain, we are now leaving the orbit of planet Alel. This reminds me of the time when a group of Travelers were trying to escape pursuit by the Imperial intelligence. Allow me to tell the background and details of their adventure. The third adventure/episode of the Secrets of the Ancients campaign is titled The Hunt. The adventure's synopsis would be as follows. After escaping capture by the Imperial intelligence, the Travelers are now being hunted. They must decide whether to go to Beck's world first, before heading to Bugin, or to go to Bugin straight away. I would summarize the adventure as follows. At Uncle Baket's hunting lodge on the jungle planet Alel, Imperial intelligence marines tried to capture the Travelers. Taking Uncle Baket's hidden spaceship, the Star Hunter, they escape and flee into jump space. Now, the Travelers must choose their next course across the Regina subsector. They have 2 obvious destinations, the worlds of Bugin and Beck's world. According to the documents recovered from Uncle Baket's lodge, A belter once found some ancient relics in the asteroid belt of the Bugin system, and Uncle Baquet believed there might be an ancient site somewhere in the system. Beck's world was once definitely home to the ancients. There is a tunnel system beneath the blackened surface of this world that has been partially excavated by researchers. One of these researchers is Juni Volsang, who possesses the secret of a technique to detect hidden ancient structures. The travelers must travel across Regina subsector and avoid the imperial authorities. Do they head straight for Bugin, gambling that they can stumble across the hidden ancient site before they are captured? Or do they travel all the way to Beck's world and get the G-band detector equipment before looping back to Bugin? Both choices pose a different set of hazards to the travelers. There are a number of non-player characters the travelers will interact with in the adventure. I will now discuss the important NPCs in this adventure. When the travelers take Uncle Baquet's spaceship, the Star Hunter, and escape the Imperial intelligence, it is possible that they have extra passengers on board. These characters could be the clueless Hans Baquet, the wannabe hunter Bard Giselle, and or the gang thug Morgan. If her cover as Vlen Baquet's fiancé is not blown, or if she was taken as a hostage by the travelers, then Imperial intelligence agent Arisa Thalba can also be an extra passenger. Except for Arisa Thalba, they can all be used as replacement player characters if one of the travelers died on Alel. They can also be used as extra crew members if the travelers are short on manpower. Otherwise, they ask to be dropped off as soon as possible in a civilized system. In the first video of this series, I have already discussed Imperial intelligence agent Gand Holses, so please refer to that video for more details. In this adventure, with his 1,000-ton, Jump 4 capable ship, the Alahir, he will be hunting for the travelers. He believes the travelers are a part of Vlen Baquet's alien conspiracy and are plotting against the Imperium. If your players prefer to concentrate on clearing their names, instead of investigating rumors of the ancients, then as a game master, point out that they need some sort of leverage before the Imperium will listen to them, such as finding a previously undiscovered ancient base. As mentioned before, it is also possible for the Imperial intelligence spy, Arisa Thalba, to also be on board the Star Hunter during their escape from planet Alel. If she is, then she attempts to win the confidence of the travelers and learn everything they know before attempting to flee the ship and make contact with Gand Holses. If the travelers have taken Arisa as a prisoner, then they can try negotiating with Holses. As soon as the travelers land on Beck's world, Customs Inspector Eurofell will approach the Star Hunter in his HEV suit. Although he acts charmingly, in reality, he is corrupt and unscrupulous. Once on board, he will look for anything worth stealing. His speech, dialect, and accent will be hard to understand. Beck's world was once a pirate base. It is now ruled by a gang of thugs, who Fell is a part of. Bay Venshar is a black market dealer. There is a thriving black market in ancient relics and curiosities. He has heard rumors of Professor Eugenia finding a method of detecting ancient sites. Thus, he is looking for researcher Juni Volsang on Beck's world. Venshar is more than 200 years old, but thanks to his use of exotic anagathics, he looks like a 12-year-old boy. He wears an expensive custom vac suit and has a grave belt. He is accompanied everywhere by his two Varga bodyguards, Karl and Vark. His yacht, the White City, has arrived 48 hours ahead of the travelers and is in orbit around Beck's world. In Beck's town, Venshar has cut a deal with the ruling gang. He intends to kidnap Juni Volsang and loot the ancient ruins. He offered the ruling gang money and a deniable way of getting rid of the university base. One of Venshar's crew is a geologist and a demolitions expert. She planted explosive charges in the rocky cliffs above the university base camp. Soon, these charges will be remotely activated, burying the base in an apparently natural landslide. When dealing with the travelers, if they have proven themselves to be resourceful and or capable, Bay Venshar assumes they too are black market dealers in ancient relics, and that they are working for crime lord Venyosha, who he fears and does not want hostilities with. Fedek Jokin is the official representative of the Duchy of Regina and of the Imperium on Beck's world. Being consul to Beck's world is the kiss of death for a career in the diplomacy corps. Consul Jokin was effectively exiled here as punishment for insulting a superior. He spends his time getting drunk and pleading with the ruling gang not to hurt anyone of importance. The Imperium only cares about the university dig and the listening post it has placed in orbit. Otherwise, it turns a blind eye towards the activities of the ruling gang. Jokin is meant as an exposition dump. He can tell a lot about Beck's world, its history, the animosity between the locals and the University of Regina's researchers, and the ruling gang who run Beck's world. His main role on the planet, other than running away, should the Jodani show up, is to keep the gang in check and mediate disputes. Other than the White City being in orbit, he does not know much else about the yacht. For 500 credits, Jokin will hire the travelers to find out what the yacht is doing on Beck's world. If the travelers are able to foil Bay Venshah's plan on destroying the university's base camp, Jokin will be grateful and can be convinced to transmit a false message to the Imperium, throwing the authorities off the travelers' trail for a few weeks. Dr. Juni Volsang is one of the senior researchers from the University of Regina on Beck's world, digging up and researching the ancient site. She was the protégé of the now deceased Professor Eugenia. The university has a camp that feels more like an outpost just outside of Beck's town. The dig site is more than a kilometer away. The university's staff on Beck's world have the utmost respect for her, and half of them have a crush on her. The dig site is in a cave system, deep underground. Her discovery of a method to detect ancient sites using G-band emissions will confirm her reputation as one of the great experts in the Spinward Marches. She is paranoid about her research being stolen, so she maintains only a single copy of her work on her computer. Although she has a backup copy in a wafer jack in her skull. Kenton Wilde is a graduate student of geophysics from the University of Regina. Like the rest of the university's staff, Kenton treats his time on Beck's world as a challenging stepping stone to a brighter academic career. He would prefer to either be out in the field or back on Regina, instead of running the communications relay and lab in Beck's town. He will happily talk to the travelers if they bring news of off-world events. He will inform the travelers that the university's dig site is off-limits to non-university personnel. When Bay Venshah activates the explosive charges that causes a landslide, nearly burying the university's base camp, Kenton Wilde will be the only survivor. If need be, Kenton Wilde can also be used as a replacement player character. I will now go through the adventure's timeline of events. My apologies in advance. I will be repeating some things I have already mentioned before. As soon as Gand Holses gave the order to arrest the travelers, he set events in motion. Invisibly, inexorably, the machinery of the Imperium is moving to capture the travelers. Their names and the identity of the Star Hunter were transmitted to Alel's starport, and there they were entered into a database of wanted criminals. Copies of this database are automatically sent to all other starports and Imperial vessels. Depending on the law level of a world, the local police authorities may also become involved in the search. The Imperium is limited by the speed of communication. There is no known method of delivering messages faster than the speed of light, except via jump-capable ships. The Imperium has a network of couriers, the X-boats, which bring messages between key worlds at high speed. Other ships, ranging from official mailboats to passenger liners, carry messages to worlds off the X-boat network. The warrant for the character's arrest propagates unevenly out from Alel, arriving at different planets at different times. The Traveler's The Star Hunter is a jump-to capable ship. From Alel to Beck's world, it will take a minimum of 3 jumps, meaning the travelers will spend a minimum of 3 weeks in jump space. Warrant for the traveler's arrest will not reach Beck's world for 5 weeks. So, they will be able to operate freely in that system, if they arrive early enough. From Alel to Bugin, it will take a minimum of 2 jumps, meaning the travelers will spend a minimum of 2 weeks in jump space. Unfortunately, the warrant reaches Bugin in 2 weeks. Given how technologically advanced the ancients are, the Star Hunter should have had a higher jump capability. However, if it did, then for story and plot purposes, as well as for gameplay purposes, that would have not worked for this adventure. As a game master, I would say the Star Hunter's jump engine is hampered for some reason, such as a past failed engineering check, a difficult-to-find part is needed, or such similar excuse. From Alel, once the travelers jump out of the system, Captain Holses, of the Alahir, will make a quick jump to the nearby system of Efate, which is on the X-Boat network. The X-Boats will carry the arrest warrant to other systems on the network, while the Alahir refuels and jumps to Pixie to alert the military base there. From Pixie, the Alahir moves to Bugin. Due to the evidence found from the wreckage of Len Baket's lodge on Alel, Gand Holses suspects the travelers will be heading to Bugin. When the Star Hunter jumps into a new system, it may be detected by the local authorities. If the travelers are ahead of the Imperial arrest warrant, then they can go about their business without hindrance. If news of the arrest warrant has already reached the system, the travelers risk being arrested or attacked if they go near inhabited worlds. In such systems, the Game Master rolls to see if the Star Hunter is detected. If detected, then the authorities will try to intercept them. Since the Star Hunter is equipped with fuel scoops and fuel processors, one way for it to minimize detection is to jump to a gas giant and harvest hydrogen from the giant instead of seeking to refuel at a starport. The next best option is to crack hydrogen from water, hence seeking water or ice worlds is an option. For story purposes, the authorities are supposed to be one step behind the travelers. Due to lack of funds, the travelers may need to earn some money to buy fuel, especially if their personal bank accounts have been frozen by the arrest warrant. So they may risk going to world with a starport, where the arrest warrant has reached it, or try to find short-term work. This chapter of the campaign book contains jobs the travelers can take for almost all the inhabited worlds with starports in the Regina subsector. From orbit, Beck's world looks like a red-streaked black marble. The planet's surface was scorched and burnt eons ago. Most of the planet consists of jagged mountains and endless lava fields. Huge volcanic vents pump black smoke into the air, and the ash clouds are so thick that whole months can pass without a glimpse of sun. Most of the volcanic activity has subsided now, but the planet is still a few 100,000 years away from having anything resembling a biosphere. There is a colony on Beck's world, a set of habitation domes and prefabricated shelters on the shore of a milky blue lake that is the only body of water on the surface. A few thousand desperate souls live on Beck's world. It was a pirate base for many years, until the Imperium offered the ruling gang legitimacy in exchange for an end to raids on shipping and the establishment of a listening post in orbit to watch for Jodani intruders. Today, the inhabitants of Beck's world are a mix of the exiled and the desperate. The government is a paramilitary gang who control the life support machinery and the guns. There are a few Imperial technicians to maintain the listening post, and there is a single official representative, Fedek Jokin, from the Duchy of Regina. The system is of little interest to the Imperium and its megacorporations. However, geologists and other researchers from the University of Regina have been surveying Beck's world for nearly a half a century. The planet's volcanic activity appears to have been artificially induced. The researchers live and work in a cluster of buildings on the edge of town. Deep beneath the scorched crust of Beck's world, they found signs that the ancients had a base here hundreds of thousands of years ago. The existence of the ancient ruins are an open secret on Beck's world and a source of tension between the researchers and the other inhabitants. The locals believe that the archaeologists have found ancient relics that are worth billions of credits in the caves and that they should get a share of the profit. In fact, no especially valuable relics have been found, but what are facts compared to rumors of vast wealth? The researchers are unaware of the increasing hostility of the locals. Fearing imperial retribution, so far, the ruling gang has done nothing about the university base. However, they want the university gone, as it threatens their grip on power. All it would take to trigger violence is a single spark. The only other ship in orbit of Beck's world is a yacht, the White City. If hailed, the White City responds that the owner, Bay Venshar, is on the surface and is not available at present. Landing at the Beck's world starport is hazardous. To get there, you have to dive into thick black clouds of dense ashen soot, guided by a faint locator beam signal. The starport is just an irregular oval of semi-level ground. As soon as the travelers land, Customs Inspector Eurofell will approach the Star Hunter in his HEV suit. Like all government officials on Beck's world, he is corrupt. Once on board, he will look for anything worth stealing. For unrefined hydrogen, Fell will sell it for the unreasonably high price of 300 credits per ton. Refined hydrogen is unavailable. If the travelers want to go into town, he will charge an entrance fee of 200 credits per person. Beck's town is a disreputable, dilapidated, worn, shabby, and dangerous place. Most of those who come to Beck's world are just poor and desperate travelers. Occasionally, some lost free trader or adventuring party land here and are never seen again. At this point in the adventure, Bay Venshar has already met with the ruling gang and is putting his plan to demolish the university dig into action. If the travelers try contacting the ruling gang, they are forcibly rebuffed and told to go back to town or to their ship. If asked for researcher Juni's location, Fangs, a Varga bartender, will tell the travelers to hire Gvarel, who is another Varga, as a guide. Gvarel will charge 1,000 credits to bring them to the University of Regina's dig site, which is a kilometer away from the university's base camp, which is just outside of Beck's town. The Imperium representative is Consul Fedek Jokin. He can provide exposition about Beck's world to the travelers, as well as the location of the dig site and of the university's base camp. When the travelers approach the University of Regina's base camp, which is little complex of prefabricated shelters, they will be greeted by Kenton Wild, a graduate student of geophysics. Researcher Juni Volsang is currently at the dig site, which is a kilometer away from the base camp. The dig is in a cave system, deep underground. It is off-limits to everyone except university staff. However, communications with the dig site were just recently broken. Kenton has just checked the communications equipment at the base camp, and they are all working fine. If the travelers want to talk to Juni Volsang, Kenton suggests they wait at their ship until communications are restored. 30 minutes after the Bay Venshar's boat departs, Ashanta's hidden demolition charge explodes, triggering a landslide. Thousands of tons of rock slide down the slope, smashing through the flimsy habitation domes of the university compound. The landslide has also hit several other buildings in the outskirts of Beck's town. If the travelers were unlucky enough to be in or near the university compound, then they are caught in the landslide. The following events happen in the chaotic minutes after the landslide. Kenton Wild is the only survivor. Half of Beck's town arrives at the disaster site. Some of them are there to search the rubble for victims, but most concentrate on looting the wreckage of the university compound. The Imperial Consul, Jokin, is woken from his drunken stupor. Convinced that the Jodani are attacking, he runs out into the dust cloud, looking for the travelers. When he finds them, he demands that they bring him to the ferry star system immediately, so he can send word of the invasion. If the travelers can calm Jokin down and convince him that Beck's world is not under attack by the Jodani, then they can use the authority of the Imperial Consul to take command of the rescue effort. Soon after the landslide, Eurofell and half a dozen other gang members arrive. They are armed, and they threaten the crowd to disperse. Then, they search the rubble of the university compound for ancient artifacts. Fell finds Jokin and informs him that the landslide wiped out everyone at the university compound and suggests that Jokin return to the consulate in case there are secondary tremors. Part of the deal that the gang struck with Venshar is that there would be no survivors. Therefore, if the gang finds any survivors in the rubble, such as Kenton Wild, they will hide the discovery from onlookers and quietly bludgeon the unfortunate victim to death, making it look like he was killed in the landslide. The most likely result is that the travelers get involved in the rescue effort, find Kenton Wild, and then have to escape or fight the gang. If Imperial Consul Jokin is present, then the gang will not provoke a fight. A successful explosives or space science check confirms that the landslide was artificially triggered, probably with a standard mining charge. Searching the debris of the university compound lets the travelers find a map showing the location of the dig site. Alternatively, if they successfully rescued Kenton Wild, he can guide them to the dig site. At the dig site, there is just one unremarkable cave entrance. Outside the cave mouth are supply crates and pup tents. The crates contain basic survival equipment, such as water and food supplies, breather masks, headlamps, helmets, heated suits, ropes, crampons, climbing gear and handheld seismic sensors. There is no one at the cave entrance. The cave network, inside, will be extremely dangerous, which the sourcebook does not provide a map for. Before the travelers have arrived, Bay Venshar and 3 of his thugs were dropped off. Like the travelers, they are looking for Dr. Volsang and her ancient detector. With the exception of Dr. Volsang and her assistant, Stiv, they have already killed all the other researchers. Deep within the cave system is a large cavern that serves as a base camp for the university's dig site. There are half a dozen tents here, as well as more supply crates and scientific equipment. Everything is splattered with blood. The travelers will see laser burns in the rock walls and torn hunks of human flesh. The cavern camp has been looted by Venshar's thugs. While the travelers are in the cavern, they receive a message via their comms from Dr. Volsang. After speaking with Dr. Volsang over the comms, the chase is on between the travelers and Bay Venshar's team. A short distance from the cavern camp is the Big Stair, which is a cliff that is more than a kilometer in height and a sheer drop into the yawning darkness. Halfway down, the travelers can see the descending lights coming from Venshar's team. At the bottom of the Big Stair is a warren of smaller caverns and structures worming into the rock around the central shaft. Pyramidal temples and strange ovoid buildings protrude from the sides of the shaft. In the last days of the final wars, hundreds of ancients took refuge here. Bay Venshar and his thugs will take up positions at the bottom of the shaft in the open bowl-shaped depression at the end of the Big Stair. His team has already planted explosive charges at the top of the shaft to bring the whole place crashing down if Dr. Volsang is unwilling to surrender herself to him. At this point, Bay Venshar will most likely assume the travelers are working for crime lord Venyosha, which makes him willing to cut a deal with them. He wants both Volsang and her ancient detector, but is willing to settle for one or the other. So it is up to the travelers on how to get out of this situation. After Beck's world, the adventure assumes the travelers, next, journey to the Bugin system. Bugin is a lightly inhabited system, home to a single scout base and a few other space stations orbiting the main world. It sees little traffic, apart from scouts and ships, on the way to the naval outpost at Pixie. As soon as the travelers arrive in the system, they will be detected by the scout base and challenged. If they came straight here from Alel, then they may have arrived ahead of their arrest warrant. If they are here after week 3, then the Alahir is waiting for them in this system. While most of the ships at the scout base are standard scouts, there are larger and better armed vessels present. Bugin and the gas giant Komesh orbits are 400 million kilometers apart, giving the travelers 2 or 3 days of searching before they are intercepted by the Imperial forces. The Jupiter-sized planet, Komesh, is the largest gas giant in the Bugin system. Like most gas giants, it is mostly composed of hydrogen. According to Uncle Baket's records, a merchant found an ancient statue on a metal-rich asteroid orbiting Komesh and also detected distortions in the G-band. This evidence suggests there is an ancient base somewhere near Komesh. However, exhaustive surveys have been done on Komesh's dozen moons and asteroids. If there is an ancient base in the system, then the only place it could be is deep within the gas giant. Only a fool would dive into Komesh's gravity well. There are many layers of clouds concentrated around an altitude of 36,000 kilometers. At the upper limit of this band, the clouds are water and ice. Deeper into the planet's atmosphere, the clouds are condensed ammonia, and absorb almost all light. Most ships scooping fuel from a gas giant rarely venture below the pressure level of 0.5 atmospheres, which is 36,500 kilometers altitude on Komesh. Diving below this level is extremely hazardous, as the ship risks being caught in the gravity well. Below this level, the amount of thrust needed to maneuver increases significantly. Deep in the atmosphere, the temperature also rises quickly. Pressure, heat, the raging windstorms, and ammonia sleet can push even the toughest ship to the breaking point. A series of successful census checks are required to locate the ancient base. The base is actually a ship moving through the planet's atmosphere under the cloud banks. 3 successful checks in a row are needed to locate it. The difficulty for the checks depends on how deep the travelers dive into the atmosphere. However, the deeper they dive, the more damage their ship endures. If a census check has failed, the travelers lose their bearing on the G-band distortions and must start again. If the travelers have access to Juni Volsang's sensor enhancement, it gives a +6 dice modifier to census checks, making the search much easier. Once 3 successful sensor checks in a row are made, the travelers detect a large artificial object at approximately 35,500 kilometers. The only way onwards for the travelers is down. The Secrets of the Ancient sourcebook makes no mention of what to do if the travelers are captured and/or arrested. If that were to occur, it is basically game over. Thus, the game master may need to design a prison breakside adventure if they want the campaign to continue. The only map the adventure provides is that of the Regina subsector. Beck's world is located towards the core ward and trailing portion of the Regina subsector. Most of the adventure will take place on Beck's world, which was a former pirate base. Beck's world is a volcanic wilderness with a minimal biosphere and few natural resources. Beck's world has a universal world profile code of D88349D-4, meaning it is a low population world with poor starport facilities, a harsh dry environment, and operating at a low technology level. This world is designated an amber zone by the Imperium with an environment, laws, customs, and other conditions that make it dangerous to visitors. Basically, it is a backwater planet operating with the mentality of the Wild West. The campaign book provides no map of the university's dig site. Instead, it is randomly generated by dice rolls. Bugin is located slightly towards the core ward and Spinward portion of the Regina subsector. Bugin has excellent starport facilities, and the Imperium operates a scout base on the above-average technology level planet. However, due to the arrest warrant, the travelers are unlikely to visit it. Instead, they should be heading to the star system's gas giant, called Komesh. Under its thick ammonia clouds and swirling storms, the travelers will find an ancient ship. In conclusion, in this episode, the travelers are being hunted and must travel across Regina subsector. Their best course of action is to head to Beck's world and get an ancient site detector before heading to the Bugin system. Again, my biggest criticism is what to do if the travelers get caught. The campaign book provides no guidelines on how to handle the adventure if that were to happen. If you have any ideas on how to make this adventure even better, please share them in the comments below. Next week, I will provide a walkthrough of the next episode, Descent. Thank you for watching, from all of us at the RPGmodsFan spaceship. Hope this video has been informative and entertaining. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment. We do like feedback, and we try to respond to as many comments as we can. Till next time, on behalf of RPGmodsFan, I am Peaches, saying cheers, have a good day, and goodbye.
Sleep with open eyes. can't see